All right, guys, we're back for another Dokkan battle video today, as requested. Top 15 LRs. Let's get down to it because it's gonna be really hectic going down the line. I know this LR list is gonna be a lot later in the month than if you've seen the previous one that I did September 1st. So it's gonna look just a bit different. Just remember, of course, we're all of us were allowed to make choices and make different decisions based on varying circumstances. New information comes in, we gotta change up the list. Whew, now, number 15 is gonna be UI Goku. It's pretty easily. If UI Goku can dodge, he could be a top 10 unit in this game. There are bosses now that cancel dodge, or there are still bosses that cancel dodge that are very dominant and very heavy damage dealers. So Goku being a dodge or die character, especially this Ultra Instinct one, it kind of hurts him. But for the events where he can dodge, you get the guaranteed dodge turn one. It makes Ultra Instinct Goku one of the more invulnerable characters because he can't dodge turn one if you can dodge. And then you build up this. He's critting on his active skill. You build up this. He does so much more than you would actually expect, but it's handicapped by the fact that he has to be able to dodge in these difficult events. If not, he would be probably if he could dodge and tank, he would be a top 10 unit to this day. But unfortunately, he can't really tank those big hits unless you get like this up, and then like you have to have this, of course, have to have this built up, and even that still he can kind of get like hit very hard through his defense because he's not raising his he's not raising his defense on his super attack, which is always going to be a massive L for units like this. I feel like that's how they automatically power creep units. They make them super busted and then they don't give them certain abilities like defense on super or a defensive mechanic of any kind, like damage reduction or something like that. That kind of handicaps a unit later down in its life cycle, but it's a gacha game, so it's going to happen. But coming in at the number 15 spot is going to be Ultra Instinct UI Goku. Now 14, going to be a little bit of head scratcher. It's the new Carnival unit, Broly. Broly is going to be 14. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be like, click off video right now. But if you have to be honest with ourselves, Broly, he's the typical, he does a lot of damage. He has a lot of high defense when he builds up. And it's after he builds up, he looks a lot more impressive. He's meant for Festival of Battles, one of the difficult events in the game currently, still the longest event in the game. So he does have that there. My only gripe with this unit is, he has to get hit to get defense. And I know what people are saying. This says with every attack perform. Yep, none. Yep, hold up, wait, none. Hold up, wait, none. Hold up, wait, none. Yeah, so he has no built-in additionals in his kit. Oh, but right here, he has a built-in additional attacks when he gets hit, which would help him attack more, which is to get his defense. So he has to get hit more to attack more, and he needs to attack more to get his defense, and defense will always be more viable than offense in this game. He has a lot to his kit. He has guard. He has high amounts of damage reduction at the start of turn. 40% of it gets waived off, but if you get hit with a super attack and you build up this a little bit more, he's a lot more tanky. Of course, he has his turn 3 active skill, gives him defense, gives him the ability to pop the scouter at will, and he's a stacker. But it's this right here. It's this whole portion right here. He needs to get hit to attack more, because sometimes he will just attack once, and if you don't get the hidden potential position, like hidden potential system additional to proc, he's attacking once, and if he attacks twice, it's not like this Broly is raising his defense by 100% each turn. This is a 20% stack, 20% stack. So it's not like he's stacking his defense high enough to where he needs to sit in slot 1. He deserves to be in that slot 1 spot. And it just leads this character to, when they're not super attacking this character, because it's very specific, the enemy has to super attack this Broly for him to get this infinite growing buff. There are times where he can just get one shot turn one through this whole thing in certain events, and there's times where yeah he'll get hit and then he needs to build up, and it'll be like, okay, turn 5 he's starting to look real decent with his 30% damage reduction, guard, all that. Some characters have this turn 1. Some characters have guard damage reduction turn 1 without having to really work for their defense getting that high. Broly has to actually, work for his defense because he doesn't have any of he has none of this at the start of the turn. He just has 260, 70% damage reduction turn 1. Turn 2, let's say he does like one attack, he gets the 50, and then he does 2 attacks, he gets the 100. He's only getting this guard and 30% damage reduction. And it's when he's out of his damage reduction turns that he really loses his defensive tankiness. And that's kind of the thing that led me to put this Broly in this spot. He's not a bad character in any way. He's just very particular and not a particularly great character. He's a good character, but not particularly great. So Broly, unfortunately, I'm sorry, but you got to go into the 14 slot. Even if you're a new unit, we can't let things like that slide. Coming in at number 13, LR Gods. Now I know people are going to be like, wait, this unit is the exact copy of the Super Saiyan 4 unit that you had highly ranked in your last tier list. The thing about this unit that I don't like, in their transform state, mind you, it's pretty good to get the 77% damage reduction guard, that combo first turn 1, but it's right here. To me, dodge is good when you're able to tank the hit and still, the dodge is just extra, just in case you can dodge a super attack. Some of these characters, they get hit, especially if they're in an event that cancels dodge, they get hit and they can't handle the super attack. They can't handle the normal attacks. This unit is only guarding. They only have a 30% chance to dodge, and then they have this weird build-up dodge for every rainbow key spheres. Yes, they are rainbow orb changing, but that would mean they would need to be in slot 1. And chat, this unit has aged massively. They have aged massively since they came out, so they're not going to be the slot 1 demigods that we need them to be. They only got the damage reduction 77% when they transform turn 1 anyway, so it's like you can only have that ability really pop off for them turn 1 when they transform. And it's not like there's a lot of events now that don't cancel dodge, so we wouldn't have to worry about this. There's a decent chunk that are very powerful and very difficult to go through with your average kit of characters, so you definitely need somebody that can tank the hits, not just dodge them, because you can't. And it's pretty simple. They're just a less effective version to the Super Saiyan 4 counterpart. It's just simple. Their link-in partners are not as sufficient as they would like to have them, or I would like to have them, and they don't have a decent enough team for me to say, okay, yeah, we could run them in slot 1 without any really worries. If we run them in slot 3, they're not getting their orbs, they can look pretty mid, and it's just as simple as that. But they are better than Broly. I will say that. They are better than Broly. Coming in at number 13. That's number 13, right? Yep. No, coming in at number 12, actually. My bad. Number 12 is going to be the Easy 8 Super Saiyan Vegeta, Super Saiyan Trunks. Chat, this is another simple one. The Easy A is a monsterish thing that they've done. This unit, on their active skill, they're giving this bond of parent and child allies, support. Just off the rip, you gotta love a unit that gives support. They guard, they have damage reduction regardless, so they don't have to be a turn 1 unit, a slot 1 unit, to really be effective. They have a little bit of damage reduction, they have a little bit of guard, they get a little bit of damage reduction at the start with their intro. But also, if you want to throw them in slot 1, they get extra damage reduction. You got 50% with the guard, pretty decent. Also, they're building up, through the match with every attack received or evaded. I like that ability a lot out of a character. Their active skill is one of the more busted ones in the game. Gives all allies defense 20% turn. You know how those effects work with chat. And then this right here, raise allies attack and defense by 5% in a battle. they basically can help other units that can't stack their defense. Any unit that is on one of their teams can become a festival killer if they have a decent enough kit. This unit is busted. It's just there are so many other units that are ahead of them that do a lot. But this unit, and I love its design. The only thing I would say about this unit is just maybe it wouldn't be too crazy, but give them rainbow or change in turn one base in their their base effects, not in just in their entrance skill. But it's still something that like they don't need, but it's just an extra little nugget that after they get to stacking and do their thing, that you notice that when they don't orb change for their team. But this unit is so busted. It's kind of like an extra easy A. Like you can put this unit on another competent unit's like team, and they're just an extra easy A, if you will, for that unit that you're trying to help out. And it's really cool. Like Dokkan did a really great job with that. I like that they're going out of their way to make some of these units good for certain difficult events that we were having trouble before, especially because that was not even a super attack effect that we would think would come to an easy A character, because it was only on Glorio, and now they've added it to this unit. Coming in at a grand number 11 spot, it is the Super Saiyan 3 Goku. That's goes Super Saiyan 4, or goes Golden Grade 8, then goes Super Saiyan 4. He's fallen down the pedestal a little bit. The only problem I have with this unit, and I say only with it being like a little bit more than just one, he's a support unit, defense. I wish he gave key, but he's a defensive support unit. He guards, and he has a 70% chance to dodge. That's great. But the problem is with this unit, he cannot be in a non-dodging fight. And in long events, I mean, we'd have to use his Super Saiyan 4 transformation, and we'll get to that. It's not like this unit has no flaws, but 70% chance to dodge and then guard sounds pretty decent. He has no damage reduction on top of this, though. So the guard is primarily useless in any event that he's in, because unless the boss is doing less than, I'd say, like 500k or for normals, or 1,000,000 for normals, he's getting pieced up through this guard, and it's looking bad for him. So you're wanting him to dodge. And then his Great Ape turn is kind of just like any other Great Ape turn. It kind of gives you a turn, kind of helps the unit the team rotation not take a lot of damage. It can help him with his status effects and that much, and helps him with lock-in, really just the lock-in portion. Now we get to the big boy, Super Saiyan 4 Goku. When he transforms into this version of him, you think that, okay, we got the Mac Daddy, we got the Supreme. This damage reduction, I'm starting to really despise the fact that he only has 10%. He does give allies a higher buff, but he's stacking attack and defense. Get it? He's stacking attack and defense, but it's not like he has a high level of damage reduction with his guard. And we know if you have a high dodge, good. You're good for events that allow you to dodge, and you're a great character. But if you have guard, you normally need damage reduction. You normally just can't have damage reduction on a kit and be good, and you normally just can't have guard on a kit and be good. You have to have one of the two. You have to be stacking. You have to be doing other things in your kit to be viable still to this day. This Goku has a lot of things in his kit, but it's just the numbers he has signed to his kit is kind of low. I sorry to be greedy, but I would love this to be higher, because these tough, difficult fights, you get to the Super Saiyan 4 and you think the fight is over, and no, the fight is just about to begin. He's going to get comboed and hit with a lot of damage, and it's not like you can save yourself. But for the most part, he is higher than a lot of the other units that doesn't have that tech to his name. I mean, he does a lot more than you would expect. With the dodge, with the support, with the stacking. He's good for festival battles. He's good for short content that allows you to dodge. So with that, he's a lot better than the 4 I've listed previously. Coming in at a whopping 10, the number 10 spot, AGL Super Saiyan Vegeta tag Super Saiyan Goku, the Fusion Reborn movie anniversary unit from this year. It's pretty simple why this unit again is on the top, is at the 10 spot and not in the top 5 range. They need a lot of help from the first 4 turns. I'm really despising the first 4 turns part of this unit. Yes, this unit is doing a lot with its support, the key support, the fusion ally defense, right? They are super effective against all types. They guard. They have the Gogeta active skill, which I think is one of the more impressive active skills in the game still. But then again, for the first 4 turns, he's kind of dead meat. Like, greatly raising defense. He's stacking in. He's stacking in his base form, guys. I can't give any credit for that. It's not that impressive when you're just stacking attack in your base form. I'm sorry. And then on top of that, they give him double guard. Like, this unit absolutely frustrates me now because what were they thinking? He guards for the first 3 turns. Cool. And then they're going to give him guard in second and in the third slot. We weren't going to put his ass in slot 1 in the first place. This ability says put him in slot 1. Because you wouldn't have this if you have this. It makes no sense giving him double guard. It's like they did nothing by doing this at all. So it's like, okay, they wasted a whole passage in his passive for no reason with that. The fusion portion of him is still good. He still has a really powerful, really strong active skill. Of course, you have the Goku portion of the card that has the Ghost Usher attack with the Veku active skill. It's really busted. It grants you a free turn. You gotta love it still because it's still one of the only ones that allows you to just, turn 4, pop that, get that attack out of here, kind of manage the fight. When Gogeta comes out, Gogeta is still, to this day, I think he's still impressive, but it's turn 4. It's turn 4. I'm sorry, guys. Like, you could be dead before then with the base form of this unit. But he's guarding, 60% damage reduction. He nullifies negative effects, so he can't be locked and things like that. Damage reduction per rainbow key spheres. On top of the fact that he's critting, on top of the fact that he's still supporting with a better buff, attack and defense support. He has a scouter as well. Active skill gives all allies attack and defense, and he rainbow orb changes, which is purposeful for this reason right here. Gogeta is still dominant, but it's not a turn 1 unit, so it's hard to kind of put him in that because a lot of characters a lot higher on this list can get to their super powerful abilities right when we need them in the beginning of the fight. Later in the fight, we can use them however we want to. This Gogeta is really like, let's pray we get to slot 4, let's pray we get to turn 4 before we pop and turn into Gogeta, because if we don't, it's looking like a loss. It's looking like a loss for us, and that really solidifies the Vegeta unit at 10. So now the top 10 is not, well, the 15 to 10 is pretty solidified on who we have here. Moving on to number 9. Yeah, I knew it was coming. It is the other anniversary tag unit. It is the Super Saiyan Goku tag Super Saiyan Vegeta, the Buu Saga unit that transforms into Vegito. This anniversary unit, now, I do like them better, but over the coming months, it's just more apparent that these units, they're built similarly, so I'm going to have the same problems with them. This Goku is not as bad in their base as the other Vegeta, but I think that Vegito has a heavy counter against him because of the way that bosses are made nowadays. They have like that high damage threshold, that high damage reduction, and you have to do a certain level of damage, so certain attacks that they do don't just go to 0 and they actually affect the enemy. But this is what I mean. For 3 turns, he has 50% damage reduction. When attacking, 20% damage reduction. In slot 2 or 3, 20% damage reduction. He has 90% damage reduction. That, regardless of anything, it's still going to be viable to this day. In slot 2 and 3, this Goku is almost untouchable. Almost untouchable. It's hard to say this Goku can get clipped. Now you can swap into Vegeta and then use the Patara Brick, which would give you the guard also, which, it's a strong ability, gives you extra defense, gives you the guard. So when you go back into Goku, if you do want to, you get the 20, and you get the 20 right here, 40%. It's an easy, nice technique. Also, he does support. But again, these super attack effects, why is their base form stack and attack? I do not know. I would have loved to see their transform or their tag and their other tag state stack attack and their base form stack defense, which would just lead to this unit being a lot better. Vegeta, on the other hand, to this day, I still think there's another character with a busted active skill, but this is just, whew, yeah, this is just crazy, dog. 300 defense, directs all attacks at himself. All attacks become crits. The reason why this is great because he's a counter character, and he's guaranteed critting with build up crit with every attack he does, with more damage with every attack he receives in the turn, with a scouter, with guard, with 60% damage reduction. He launches an additional ultra super. He also is supporting. Like, it's simple. He full heals as well. He's a superpower. He's just a superpower. It's just that simple. Now, like I did mention, some of these counters, if he's not stacked up and hasn't done enough stacks in his base, he could be doing a lot of zeros to these bosses, which kind of sucks. You know, it kind of takes the luster and the fire out of this unit. It hurts knowing that you got a popular unit like this, and they didn't go fully crazy like the GDC characters, because they went absolutely wild with them. But nothing too much to say. He's a good unit. It's just not. He ain't the rest of them. He ain't the top 5. He ain't the Sinister 5 up there. You are in the number 9 spot. Coming in at number 8. Oh, are y'all ready for it? It is the Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta that fuse into Gogeta. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta now. Well, we'll talk about the base form. They're just outright better than their counterpart, the LR gods, for one reason. When you transform into Gogeta, my bad, he does one thing that's really good. He rainbow orb changes. He has a scouter. He just has a scouter, by the way. He is getting damage reduction, and now here's the thing, right? Remember, the gods don't have a high chance to dodge or anything. They have a medium % chance to dodge, and they have to get rainbow key spheres to dodge more. This unit, on top of the fact that they are rainbow orb changing, they do get damage reduction 10% for each rainbow orb. In the same fact that they are guarding, they also have this ability. You know, this can happen at any time when their HP is under 50%. They get damage reduction. Match that with their guard, and match that with the fact that they nullify when receiving a super attack, nullify and counter. Like, that's it. It's not like a dodge and counter. This is a nullify and counter for super attacks. It's pretty simple. This unit just has almost everything that you would want out of a unit that this unit doesn't have, like the LR gods don't have. Their dodge is not as high as I would like them to be to compete with this unit, and it just shows that, like, when you say the gods are equal match to them, you just haven't used these units enough to kind of see like how they're going to play out. It's not about what the potential of this unit can do, it's about what they actually get done. What this unit gets done is he massacres bosses. Great for festival battles, great for short events when you can pop that active skill and transform. He has an amazing Lincoln partner as well. He links with one of the best units in the game too, by the way. He links with one of the best units in the game. So it's hard to say that this Super Saiyan 4 is not a top tier, top 10 character. It's easy. He's number 8 for a reason. You know. Now we're gonna get to the list where people are gonna start hating it. You know, Golden Frieza, this should not be hard. Chat, we should not fight this. Like, comments, don't fight me on this. But when you have guard for your first turn, mind you, with 90% damage reduction, you're untouchable. This is what I'm talking about. You're just untouchable. And then they buffed it so where he loses 10% damage reduction every 2 turns. For every 2 turns has passed. So his next appearance is going to be 80. He doesn't have the guard, but he's super attacking. He's building up this defense. After started from the 5th turn, start of battle as a 2nd or 3rd attacker, he's getting this, and he started the 7th turn, he's getting that. He's going to crit on his active skill. He raises defense on his 18 key. This Frieza is a complementary unit to the newest LR that came out, and he does a lot. So it's hard for me to say, okay, just because he's not dropping all these crazy attack stats. He's a defensive juggernaut. Couldn't care less about his attack stat. Him being the wall that he should have been is exactly what we need in a Dokkan Fest LR EZA. Support your LR. That's what this unit does. That's what this unit does. Easy peasy, simple. It's not nothing to complain about. We're not saying any other units are bad. We're just saying he does his job like intended better than anybody else does his job. It's just simple. Is that number 6? Yo, whew. Yeah, now we're gonna get a little spicy. Number 6. Now this is number 6 and number 5. You could argue them for me in both ways, and I will give it to you. Me personally, I just really don't know with this unit. With this unit and number 5, it's really hard for me to pick which one is like better than the other. I'm just gonna say it. It's the tag Gogeta and Golden Frieza that would be 5th, and it's the Super Saiyan Gohan that tags into Trunks and Goten. The reason why I'm having trouble with this unit, because they virtually are like two halves of a different coin. This Frieza can be a defensive juggernaut, and then when you turn into Gogeta, he can lay the smackdown with offense. On the other hand, you have this Gohan that can be a defensive wall as well. Turn 1 once you get his orbs and things ready, and then on the other hand, Goten and Trunks with their support, their high loads of offensive firepower, they're able to dish out a lot of crazy damage. The thing that gets me with these units each time is that their teams are so hard to use. Not because they don't have units that are good. Frieza doesn't have units that are like viable for him outside of his AGL Frieza buff. He just doesn't have units that I would say fit both sides of his kit. And the same way I feel about this guy. Yes, he has the tag Go Bros, the tag Goten and Trunks. Yes, he has the tech Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, the EZA that came out in the last celebration. But some of those characters in longer events, in shorter content, you have to be careful with them. Sometimes they can get clipped a little bit. They are decent. They are still good. They're not bad at all, but they're not the level of these characters. And some of these characters have teams that can actually hold their own weight. It's just as simple as that. So for me, if you want to say this guy is 5 and this guy is 6 or vice versa, I can't really argue any different because I feel the same way about this character. I think they're both at the same level. They can hit high highs for what you want them to do. The offensive power and defensive power of each of these characters are both at the level that they should be for GDC content, or for like at that peak level of Dokkan that we're trying to aim for. So with number 5 and 6 out of the way, kind of out of the conversation for a little bit. Number 4, hold up, did I just get rid of that? Number 4, oh, I'm so sorry for doing that, is going to be Goku Black. Now, let's be real. People don't read enough like they should because they think this character is terrible. And it's very easy to understand that if you just take a second to read this portion right here, no, you'd understand this guy's pretty freaking good. He just needs a Future Saga allies, Extreme Class allies, and he just needs one other ally, one other Extreme Class or Future Saga ally to get this. So if you have a team that's ran with him, and he doesn't have to be explicitly ran on this team, but he just has to have a Future Saga ally or Extreme Class ally attacking the same turn, you get guard. If you have enough, you have a bunch of them, according to whichever has much more members, you get the damage reduction. 60% damage reduction, guard, additional super. He has the mechanic where he gets defense on when he's going to receive an attack. And then Zamasu, that active skill with Zamasu, like, first of all, the Holy Light Grenade, it gives Super Boss's allies 15% attack and defense, and plus 10% who belong to the Future Saga ally. Pretty busted. But Zamasu, a lot of people hate on Zamasu, but he might not be defensively inclined to help you. But this guy with the birth of using Zamasu, he lays down the absolute smackdown. Like this active skill just wipes people out. The 40% attacking battle gives him such a huge crazy buff that it's like, okay, you gotta respect him when he's attacking, or especially when you stack up enough and then you pop this active skill. It is like a missile launcher, and then of course he's recovering health. 100% attacking defense, 50% attacking defense on the Zamasu part. He's also given he also has links like Big Bad Bosses, things like Fierce Battle, Kamehameha, Fear and Faith, Dismal Future. So he's going to link well with villain teams. He's going to, of course, if you have a Future Saga ally, which he has an ally on this team, not necessarily an Extreme Class one, but a Future Saga one, that if you pair with them, Kamehameha, Fierce Battle, Legendary Power, stuff like that still go pretty well with the fact that he just needs one other ally to kind of keep this going with him. So I'm pretty confident at choosing Rose at number 4. All right. Number 3. Omega Shenron. Omega Shenron. Now, while this unit is polarizing, if you take 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 5 seconds to read his kit, he's just doing a lot for a team that doesn't do a lot for him. Now, the team isn't bad. The team they aren't these premier LR characters that came out in banners or are coming out in Dokkan Fest or Dokkan Fest LRs or Carnival LRs. Some of them are free-to-play units. Some of them are EZA units. And his kit helps them massively. He gives allies the crit support, the orb changes. He gives them allies attack and defense and key. Well, yes, he gives them defense right here with a rainbow key square. He's also rainbow orb changing, by the way. He's also given his allies the key support and the massive attack support, making them hit a lot harder like him. He's also given allies additional damage reduction, which stacks with another character that has damage reduction. And there's a couple of characters that do have damage reduction on his team. So this Omega Shenron is literally a walk-in support unit, a walk-in support LR like energy field. And then he has his domain, which is literally allies get extra attack, superclass enemies receive, and allies receive 20% more, plus additional for characters that belong to Earth Protecting Hero. Basically, all the superhero teams or superhero categories in GT, or that would probably be in the game. They fall under one of those listings in this game. So it's not that crazy of a buff. It's not very skewed. It hits almost a lot of the superclass characters. So his domain is pretty good as well. He's getting defense on super. Greatly raises for 4 turns. He disables. He has a cancel mechanic where he disables an enemy action for 1 turn, which can nullify one of their super attacks. A lot of times it does happen where you use it, or sometimes the enemy is gonna attack first with a super. His 18 key gets rid of that, so that's pretty cool if you can get that off as well. He gets a lot of attack when he's attacking, as plus when he gets the defense when receiving attack, and when attacking he gets even more, and he's critting, and he has a counter mechanic. This unit is just doing a lot. I don't understand where people are getting the hate for him. Maybe because he's not the shiniest of units, but it's not about being shiny. It's about being actually viable for your team that matters. And this Omega Shenron, he sits at the number 3 spot because he just does what other characters on this list doesn't do. All these characters have units on their team that are, some of them at least will have 1 to 2 unit that is a premium summonable unit that has gotten an EZA, premium summonable unit that has gotten some buffs or has gotten a revamp. This Omega is doing it on himself, and he's doing it with free-to-play units. He's doing it with EZA TURs or EZA sub EZAs, and with that, you got to give him credit, because I know a lot of people would just say, "Oh, write Omega off because he doesn't have the cool animations," but his kit is pretty clean. With that being said, we got number 2, Coming up, number 2 is going to be Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Now I know last time I had him at number 1 spot, he has fallen off to another character. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta though is a classic. He's just a strong Dokkan Fest LR. He does a lot of damage. He has 50% damage reduction, guards, he crits. He has a high chance to crit, by the way. He has the double defense where he gets defense on super, defense on receive and attack. He also has a key blast counter, which a lot of the bosses in the game sometimes have key blast supers. So that goes well for him being in slot 1, regardless of if he can tank an attack. He has the chance to just counter it anyway. So that gives Gogeta a reason to kind of like sit atop the mountain. Also, Gogeta has a massive like support buff. 3 key and 70% defense to superclass allies. This right here to me is the main reason I really am a fan of Gogeta, because regardless, if you just have one of this unit or if you have him as a leader, he's given buffs to any superclass character that's on his team. And sometimes you can get away with a lot of crazy stuff. Say if you wanted to run like the grade 8 power category, you can kind of get buffs for a lot of characters that you would kind of want to hide. Say this old garbage unit, or even this Super Saiyan 4 Goku that has an easy A. He's pretty good. He can give just any buff to any character. Now, of course, these units are on his category, but now let's say they weren't on his category and they were just like on, let's see, I don't know, like we go with time limit. He's buffing a unit on time limit because he's super class allies. That's a pretty big deal, especially because we don't have a lot of just universal supports in the game. They're usually tied to their category. But with that being said, it's Gogeta. It's Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. What are you gonna say about him? He's cool animations. He does a lot of it. He still to me is the highest damage dealing character in the game, just outright. Turn 154 million super attacks that hit for a crit, and then another like 30 to 40 million super attack crit, and then another 30 to 40 million super attack crit. So it's easy for him to get off his damage turn 1. Number 1 unit in the game, though, I will have to concede, Super Saiyan God Goku tag Super Saiyan God Vegeta. This unit is the epitome of kit matters, tech matters to your kit as well. How much are you providing to your team really matters, and this team just showcases it a lot because they have the dodge. Now, when I was referring to the Goku, the .UI Goku, this is what I mean. This unit cannot dodge. If they go into a fight where they cannot dodge, they have the damage reduction. They have all this built up normally when you are running the team right. They have a little bit of damage reduction right here. They have the defense when receiving. They're doing a lot. Also, you put them in turn 1, they're raising allies defense by 60%. They just have a lot to their kit that, and this is only their first page. Of course, Vegito active skill. You pop that, makes it possible to evade these attacks. 20% attacking defense in the battle, and can nullify attacks that are guaranteed to hit. You see, also with the massive raise of attack buffs. And then Vegeta. Now, Vegeta makes this character a Festival Battles killer. His active skill specifically. The 15% support and the guard and the additional 10% for those who belong in bond of parent and child, which is specifically to help this unit as well. They just do so much. Like, it's actually crazy. He's getting the guard. He's getting the 40% damage reduction, 50% chance to dodge, 50% chance to crit. He has 3 key, 80% for the characters and allies whose names includes Trunks. Like, he's getting that buff once you have that character with him. He's also has this ability when activating his active skill, he gets more defense, and when he's attacking with more key, he gets more defense. He also has when he's attacking, also he gets the 250. They are just doing so much, and as you go onto this list, it's easier to kind of explain these characters because they're just doing a lot more than the characters that are beneath them. Not beneath them because they're bad, but beneath them because they're just doing a little bit less. And each time Dokkan should try to outdo themselves, but with the GDC characters, it shows that there was a certain level of of a certain level, that the threshold of unit that they had to reach, and the design choices that they chose, I think we're all good. If you don't have these 6 units in your top 10, it's really hard. Frieza, uh, he's a GDC level character. Me personally, I like that target mechanic and him being indefensible, not indefensible, but defensive in turn one, and having the ability to attack with a high attack at turn one. But you can mix and match them however you want to. But that right there is the top 10. Y'all can say what y'all want. This is a good listing. And with that being said, thank you guys all for watching. If you liked the video, of course, hit that like button, subscribe, comment down below what other videos you like to see, and any like other discussions you want me to get to, any other things you want me to talk about, and the ways how I go about these lists. I'm ready to bait y'all on anything, so it doesn't really matter at that point. But thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.
You are a fool to challenge a god. I'll call the anger of the gods into you.